Hey, who is this? Are you the person who is looking for love? Or you probably have someone to fall in love with and enjoying it already? Or maybe you are just a bit curious about what is going on in this love section. Welcome to the Russell Square Garden. You might have come here before, or you maybe just heard of it, as it is truly famous and extremely beautiful in most of the seasons. It is quite busy, right? I'm really proud of being one of the elves who live in here. Now, please spend some time to walk around on the edge of the garden. Don't follow the crowd. They are the people who have no idea about my love-finding tips in nature. While you are wandering around, you will need to find the tree of lovers in the garden. It is a group of linden tree. I will now give you the clues of how to find the tree. In German folklore, the linden tree is called the tree of lovers. The flowers have a strong fragrance and they attract the bees the most. You can smell the scent and hear the sound from the bees miles away when the flowers open. You might have no idea that the linden tree is actually one of the most important trees in China, as most of the honey is produced from this tree. The strong fragrance produced from the flowers inspire many poets featuring the linden tree in many romantic stories. The German lyrical poet Wilhelm Müller, who was most well known as the author of Winter Journey, has written a poem called The Linden Tree in It. Developing this idea with pleasure garden in 80s to 90th century England, no pleasure garden was complete without a linden tree. According to the myth, if a man and a woman are walking under the blossom linden tree, they will have a successful plan for the evening. Hi, welcome to this journey. For some of you, this theme might be the most useful and interesting one among all the others. It doesn't matter whether you are a cooking master or just a greedy person, this journey will definitely suit you. Have you ever noticed that every green plant you walk past all has a taste, and some of them could actually turn into food on your dinner table? It could be its seeds, its flowers, its leaves, or even the barks and branches. This is the Bloomsbury Square Garden you are standing in. It might look a bit gloomy, and it's probably not as famous as the other square gardens you have ever heard of. But do you know this is actually London's first square, which was built as a private plaza back in 17th century. The railings of the gardens were removed and melted down for armaments in the Second World War. Since then, this place has been open. Please don't stand still. Spend some time to walk around and see if you can find the physical garden. Click the clue if you need a bit help from me. Hey, my friend, to start off the journey, I have got a quick question to ask. Do you remember when you had fun in the park as a kid? What did you do? What was the most fun time? At the time, being happy was as simple as that. Those moments in your life may have disappeared while you were growing up. You might find yourself busy and rushing around from one thing to the next. Welcome to the Brunswick Square Garden. Whether you have come here before or just walked past by, this garden is worth seeing. There are many interesting rich stories behind the garden. For example, the famous Peter Pan stories was actually born in here. When the author James Matthew Barrie created the story of Peter Pan, he was living in one of the rooms in the building located on the southwest of the garden. The garden here is probably not the Neverland where Peter Pan and his friends escaped it to, but just by using the imagination while J.M. Matthew wrote the story, it's truly an exciting place where you can treat it as your own Neverland. First, to start the experience, you will need to find the oldest and the most famous tree in the garden, which is the London plant tree. It is also called the Brunswick plant. London plant tree, you have probably never heard the name of this tree before. However, whether the trees you have seen in your neighborhood area or the tree branches which scratch the windows of the double-deckers, most of them might be the London plant tree. This tree you are standing in front of is an old guy. It is already 200 years old, and it is probably the only thing that has still been preserved in the garden from the old days. It is the garden's patron saint, and it creates a lot of beautiful memories for both humans and us. You are now welcome to join the game together with your friends, and remember to release your hidden childish innocence. Hi, I'm E. How are you? I don't want to hear the same answer again and again. I don't want to hear it, I'm fine, thank you. I want to hear the real answer. I think it is not too easy for you to live in this country. I mean, you must be stressed for some reason. For example, your work, your relationship, or just generally overloaded with information and so on. As an elf, you might think I'm just a happy one, a creature always flying around, doing nothing but just wasting my energy. However, you might have no idea that I got tons of things to do too. But I find my ways of releasing my stress in nature, without using anything human-made. I like that. I wonder how you heal yourself. You might already have noticed some headstones from Victorian period were laying around in the garden. It was once the burial ground from the nearby two churches back in 300 years ago. The graveyard was closed in 1850s because it was overcrowded with at least 20 burials a month. The garden was then reopening again after 30 years to serve as a public garden for the local residents to enjoy. I think you might be interested in this game with a bit of imagination and discovering skill. Do you know which tree is called the Tree of Life or the World Tree? Do you know the tree from where humans were created? Please step onto the stone, follow the line, it will lead you to find it. This is the tree you are looking for. It is called the ash tree. You might be quite surprised to hear that humans were made from the ash tree. In the Norse mythology, there was an interesting story. The belief that the first smell was made from the ash twigs by the hand of god Odin. Now, I'm going to tell you about some simple magic which allows you to create a portable solar amulet to protect yourself from any harm and give you all the strength for any difficult moments. This is actually the best time to use the magic before the spring comes. It allows you to hang it in a permanent location in your room. Or you can cut it a bit short and make it as a key charm. This will help you to fight off the wintertime blues. This is a tree standing in the garden. It's considered as a sacred tree in many countries. People think it has magical power and symbolizes strength, noble, and longevity. It is especially good for you when you are in need of stability and strength in your life. To get the energy from the oak tree in order to gain the strength and stability for yourself, you need to do the following activity. It is better if you can do it on your own and without any disturbance. First, touch the tree bark with your hand. You can use one hand or both. This is to let you and the tree introduce each other. Now, after you feel comfortable with its texture with your hand, turn around and lean against the tree trunk. This is the moment of trusting each other. Adjust the breath and relax. Put your whole body weight on the tree trunk, then close your eyes. You and the tree are connecting. Take a deep breath 10 times, deeply and slowly. You need to focus on your breath only. It is the process where the tree is delivering energy to you. Now you have finished the process. Take a few steps forward and look up to the canopy. Can you see the phantoms from the white light of the sun striking the leaves and branches?